Throughout the year, there's a group of 4 people that help keep the ball rolling. You got Sam, Ron, Cecilia, and Maury. So we meet once a month. I don't know if you guys do that or not. So we meet once a month. It's called the ET4 Leadership Team. So everything you see going on today, we work together to make that happen. So I want to give them a round of applause for all the hard work. Everybody's busy, but they always take the time to read and make what we do even better. Okay, with that said, any other questions or comments? We're going to do about a 30-minute kind of Q&A, and then we'll walk off lunch to a good tour of the campus, and then head back and finish off the agenda. What time are we meeting at Whitey's? Oh, well, I'm sorry, Whitey's at 6. Does that work? Okay. Okay, so Whitey's at 6. And we're going to be outside on a covered patio around the water. So it should be a nice evening. Okay, so now we're going to do the industry roundtable. We got Bob coming. Okay, so I'm just going to ask a couple questions.
I'm Susie from the Army TV.
My name is Robin Fairclough. I'm the industry sector manager for manufacturing and aviation at Career Source Northeast Florida. So we have this county, St. John's, Baker, Clay, Duval, Nassau, and
I'm Joseph Jones with Plaza Impact LLC, and I'm doing work with several of you on the sector. Maybe it's called education and how to live with it.
Maybe, I know there was another industry person at the college involved. I think we're going to make an official at the 30 minutes. Okay, the first question is, what is the new technologies that will impact and benefit manufacturing?
Many days do we have? There are a lot, and they change fast. So I try to think about this in the context of you as educators. And I think a couple of things that, one was mentioned, but one that when we do our research and look at the data, so what people are interested in and what skills are interested in from a manufacturing standpoint, robot programming is at the top of the list, very high. Now the question always is robots, right? Because God has their own words and that's how. So a couple trends that are happening in the industry. Watch for, and you may or may not be aware. One is there is a goal to try to standardize across the common programming language. It's called ROS, Robot Operating System. You may or may not have heard of, but there's an industrial component of that called ROS-I. That's managed by another nonprofit. And what's happening with ROS-I is that more of these manufacturers are adopting the support for that. So hopefully, over time, you can teach ROS-I and not have to worry about all the things that are that's one trend. Along with that, there are a number of overseas companies that are starting to get some traction and do rapid robot programming. So it's a way of putting user interfaces for how these robotic devices to make it almost touching buttons on the screen to program robots and not moving language. So watch for those, watch for ROS-I and watch for languages, the rapid prototyping and the easy programming robotic. The second thing that was touched on about fluency was that's becoming more and more popular, especially with small medium-sized manufacturers who can't afford to take the machines offline because of the use them. So we've done a partial work in that area. So a billion things I can talk about. Those are the two things that kind of get to mind that you guys not know about as educators. Well, that's another, we could spend an hour just discussing that, but the standard definition of a robot is something that automates the process, right? Which you could put a lot of other things in it. Yes, what I'm really looking at are two categories of what we call industrial robots, which are robotic arms, collaborative robots, which could be what robotic arms, but they also start to think more human like form, like maybe have two arms, or maybe have two legs, or maybe be a mobile device, right? A mobile robot. But those are kind of the trends as companies move away from industrial robots in the areas of to robots that can actually do right in the production. Those are collaborative robots. That's really where the industry is moving forward, especially for this. Collaborative robots are good. There could be stationary and mobile.
I'm gonna touch on virtual reality also. The local manufacturer brought to my attention that they're using it not only to train their employees so that it's standardized, but they're also using it to help when they have an expert at one location, at one plant, and a newer person who needs training at another plant. They're using the virtual reality to help to instead of flying someone in, they're using the virtual reality as a way to upgrade the skills of that person and guide the newer person through whatever upgrades or facilities training they need. So that was an interesting thought. And so to your point, if you're a small manufacturer, that thing that you have multiple locations, that might be an opportunity. And AI is just who knows how it's going to be utilized. I can't give you, I wish I had a crystal ball, but it seems like it's everywhere and it's going to be in everything. So maybe that would be the other.
So, regarding virtual reality, I'd like to ask, the kind of companies that teach virtual reality, they're larger or small? Yeah, that's my experience too. I've seen a couple, like two that come to mind immediately where the virtual reality was used by one to design a product. The engineers could walk around inside of submarines. They walk around inside and do develop the product itself. Another is using virtual reality in a product that's custom to simulate. But as far as the impacts on manufacturers, new technologies, every one of the technologies, all of the technologies will help reduce, maybe the need for some of the lower skilled employees. We don't have needs right now for those. I'm not sure it's going to reduce the need for the numbers of employees that they have, but obviously put more pressure on you all because the skills that they need have to be at a higher level in order to maintain the technology, to be productive and to produce. I think that's really the big impact generally of technology on
What she was talking about, virtual reality. This artificial intelligence is going to be game changing for all of us. It's a matter of fact, it comes online, how it comes online, how the government's going to regulate it, and it's going to hold up. How it's used.
Thanks, man. Any follow-up questions, comments? All right, so what are the pressures in developing the workforce needed to maximize productivity and profit?
So when I'm back up later on this afternoon, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the skills. So one of the key things, and you're all looking at that too, right? Looking for in order for them to have a workforce. Right, which is industry 5.0, is really sort of that codec model, where we're just humans are intermeshed with machines. So I think one of the pressures is, how do you take the workforce is aging? The average age in the United States of the manufacturing employees is 55 years old. So you take an aging workforce that may be around 5 to 10 years, upskill them to use the new technology. We're also attracting a number of people into the workforce. And honestly, that's the biggest challenge that we're facing today. Manufacturing many years has had a black eye in terms of a perception of a career. Baby boomers, and I'm one of them, are at fault because our kids do anything we want, but don't go to manufacturing. Especially from the eye over there, we have some employment from manufacturing. So we have a whole couple generations of people who are not interested in manufacturing careers. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we're all trying to solve. Is really getting enough interest so that we can build those at each point in time where 800,000 and 1 million open manufacturing jobs. Number 4, you guys over at Florida Mix over that time, but I'm not sure if it is right now where you're at. It's not fun, right? And Florida was one of the few states that actually grew in manufacturing over the jobs over the past years. So we have this interesting challenge with growing manufacturing, not a heavily automated state compared with some other states, and we need to get more people interested in manufacturing. Those are not really small challenges.
I definitely think recruiting new talent is one of the biggest pressures in manufacturing. With so many manufacturers to recruit talent. I think that if you can partner with your advisory boards and get them to be willing to say that they will at least interview those that graduate from their program, and then you can use that as a marketing tool to talk to the parents and the students about the programs. So parents, I say, and letting them know that yes, your manufacturers, while they can't guarantee them a job, are willing to interview each of your graduates. Then I think that will go a long way. It's not it can help a little bit. We need more students to be aware of manufacturing, and I know teachers are better. But if Pittsburgh everyone knew about manufacturing, no, and here we just don't even have the awareness. They just don't even know. So I definitely think as the baby retire, we've been talking about it for 25 years at least. And the other pressure is about getting involved in do a lot of events and try to encourage them to participate. I think more art and more the fun and conservative school students. Jackson Johnson has done a great job. Some of the larger manufacturers have been getting programs. I know part of the small ones, but if we can create consortiums between the large, medium, and small, then it's going to be better.
So, manufacturers, pressures that they're seeing include a lot of workforce, obviously, they are having difficulty meeting customer demand. They may have a long backlog, but they're not able to put out the product that customers want. So that's why maybe with the new people, but to bring in the people with the skills, they're facing the companies are also facing time and cost pressures. I'm sure you've heard manufacturers say, "Oh, I don't care about what you do, I just need the skill. I don't need that certification, I need the skills." And that pushes them and pushes you, to be able to deliver, maybe in short time frames, the training and skills and the education that the manufacturer employees need to satisfy the manufacturer. Again, they don't care about what you do. And they shy away, actually, I've heard a lot say that they shy away from the two-year degree just because of that. That's their pressure, the cost and the time that it takes to have an employee work with use actually getting value
On the education side, I think before we come back to it, there's a perception, and what we've got to do is we've got to convince parents And one of the things that coordinates with our advisory council for manufacturing, one of the things that they discussed was the manufacturers partner with school districts. And that's a huge thing, because if the manufacturer comes into a school district and they can convince the counselors, they can convince the administrators, this is a great occupation, then they're just going to go down to the parents. Goes down to the parents. It's a thing that has to be perception exercise. You know, that's not just for manufacturing. That's a security question. It doesn't matter. As a parent, you want your kid to be more successful than you are. And you just don't look at certain occupations. But, you know, there are. There's, I can give you an example. Years ago, when I was teaching, as a student, and I was in class, and I was telling the students, you know, you don't have to have a 4-year degree to be successful. You know, a few years ago, a student came back up to me, I wasn't trained at Walmart. He came up to us and just wrote, you're exactly right about college education. If you told me I didn't need one, I went to a tech school, I became an air conditioning technician. Now my own company had 120 employees. So that's, you've got to have that perception, that change their mind, to make sure that they know there are alternatives other than 4-year degree. How many people have 4-year degrees that they and what that degree is?
Just a couple of quick things to mention. I was at a Regional Manufacturing Association general meeting on Monday, and we were setting up, Rob and I, we were setting up speed networking, and we're trying to connect as many educators to industry as possible, right? Sort of, you know, close the loop on what Bob just mentioned. So anyway, to kind of tee that up, I asked the group, how many, there's 60 people over there, how many of people in this room think working with education is important? Everybody raise their hand. Then I asked, okay, how many of you are doing a event for manufacturing now? Nobody raised their hand, so I assumed everybody was. But then I looked at the crowd, they were kind of confused. I said, okay, how many of you are doing something for manufacturing now? Still no hands. So even though they knew that working with education is important, none of them were doing anything with educators doing manufacturing now. And so that's why we teed up that speed networking event. So if you don't have anything planned, we've already got something set up for you, just join us. So we're hoping we can, make a difference there. I don't know, Robin, how many of y'all would say you'd like to have more students in your program? Probably most of you, right? So looking for different ways. A couple things that Rob and I worked on is there's working with a lot of nonprofits, Goodwill, the disabled groups, whoever's out there that's got people, right? We did create a program where all these nonprofits that kind of get looked over. At FSCJ, at most colleges have some sort of training money. So we had some training money. The idea was take these people that have zero skill, give them 6 weeks of training for entry-level skills, give them a job, and then they continue working. So this is a group of people that we really haven't looked at. I don't know if you guys are. And another thing too is I don't know, Robin, if you want to talk a little bit about some of the grants that are available, more for companies, but really the training's done in your facilities, right? So maybe talk a little bit about that.
So there are local and state grants from CareerSource, so I'll let them talk about that. Most familiar with, which is our local grant. So we have customized training in our area. So really that the company decides what training they want. So for example, our local Christmas Manufacturing Association partners with to offer an entry-level. If the company wants to send their students there and get reimbursed, they can apply for money to do that. If they want to work with anyone, they can work with anyone that often happens to pay as they don't work. They can create classes or trainings that we are able to reimburse at least 50%. Often we're able to reimburse 30% of the tuition cost for them. They're 50% so that is the the way that I grew. We do also have scholarships available to individual students. But we work with a lot of different companies, and virtual reality, even like it earlier, was something we were able to do. They are training someone to be the expert, and we're able to offset the costs.
I'm gonna make a comment. You talk about them writing, the first thing I asked is the job description. What I love is nothing like it. I go back and I say, so this I can get out. No, that's what I do. You're not even close. So what do you really need? What does this individual do? I don't see it in here. You know, we have to go back and get them to come up with the right job description. Getting a job description for the technical jobs from every company you got really brings to light what you're doing. I think that's great. I love when it comes to, yeah, I need training in electricity. That's what I say is, how do you know that? How do you know that? Because they're having problems getting this, but do they need to know how to do this, or what do they need to know in electricity to do this? So I go to Career Source, and you've got 3, believe it or not, assessments that we can give them the knowledge, and I can go in and put hands on to see if they can do anything. What the companies are going to find out is not everybody needs that entry-level training. They could do, someone can start in the middle, some can start in the advanced, then get what they want out of it, spread their dollars even more efficiently, what I try to do. But you see a lot of people doing that. This is crazy. Why would you do that? And I don't know, but you also have faith for that. And if we can provide some certification or something out of it, I think that's that, right?
Right, so each career source runs slightly different programs, so that is so when we say a certification, as long as they certify that they've done the skills that we agree to, then they can create their own certificate, you can create a certificate, we don't have to have, we don't have to stick to master credentials. So that's the next thing. And I'll tell you, I envy sometimes the industry sector managers for healthcare, because healthcare is so restricted, and you have to have those particular certifications to go into the job.
Yeah. I understand that part. Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at, I get technician, this guy needs mechanical. How do you know that? Have the knowledge to be most of hands-on. So what part of this is you missing? I need to be specific. But you say generally, I didn't think they're throwing money away. Okay, we're generally going to look at it. So I kind of get the point where we need to assess them first. Somebody comes in, I like to do a simple assessment just to see where they stand. And say, here's what I see. This is what I would recommend.
Right, yeah, and I think that's a great concept and works for some areas. And then I think the basic intro to manufacturing was created by a consortium of manufacturers to try to get those new to the area. Some still may be more advanced than that, but that, at least they have one class. They can differentiate that way, then that's great, but that
well, and there's higher entry level people doing simple tasks. So they need this person. So you've got a tool within your own company to do that. There's a pipeline sitting there. You don't even see it. Let that person who's doing your job and say, you want to move that and go to the company? Go in and get you this program to move over here. All the things you don't even want to do it. Just think about that. They don't even look at anything else.
Thanks, Jay. Any more questions? Depends on your career.
It depends on your career skills. If you're doing that in one of our 6 counties, the company has to do the application. The dotted line is to the educator, but the actual connection is to the company. So the company has to come to their source and do an application. But they can put that one class, like one problem. And so that's the. But yes, that can be done.
One other thing too, is, like we were saying, is these manufacturers don't know how to contact the school district. Or the school district does not know how to contact them. So there's a big disconnect right there, but they're coming up with their problems and that's what they're in Orlando, the broadband problem. I know all these communication companies from, how can I connect with education? What can I do to follow? They don't know how. They don't know how to contact workers, the district CP director. They don't know that. So that's something else that we can look at. You know, the manufacturing associations are really good ways to make this. The manufacturing association never done that. But we don't know who to talk to.
As a program manager, I'm on the board. I got on the board to be on this. If they have questions, I can answer. And then I'm really down to the high school technical. So they got program managers do this, you do that. Go there, let's talk to them, let's get you connected. So I helped with that a lot on the things. I think if you're an instructor or especially program manager, I think John, you're on your I'm on the board of my main regional manufacturer. You should be on the board of your regional manufacturer, at least in meetings with it. Discuss this stuff. If you don't, you're not going to do anything. Yeah,
One of the things you mentioned, Sam, you know, I have noticed manufacturers, especially over the last few years, tough times trying to get the skills that they are more and more interested in upskilling the current employees. That's I see that.
I'll just show you real quick. So, answer the question about how the company is partnering with you guys. We created a dashboard. This is the FLATE website. There's a link to the dashboard. That's a link. Your connection works. Refresh your screen. Yeah, just see it. I just did. Okay, anyway, one of the pages, I think it's this one here, we can't see it. You can go to it, basically. Yeah, so we took a spreadsheet of all the schools in Florida that have manufacturing related programs. We put it up there so you can search. So if you're a company, and you're going to search for a welder, you can find all the programs in Florida, all the welding programs. They don't have to connect with that, with that tool. That could be you guys. So we make the research. So as you do come up with companies, and they ask that question, how can I connect? Right, obviously, that dashboard is a great resource. And then, Florida Base is a great resource, so the help is there. And I think, obviously, none of us have $1 million to get the word out, right? So it's mostly word of mouth. But anyway, we'll just keep talking about it until it's in sync. A couple other things too, I just want to mention, as far as increasing enrollment, another option to look at, something we did in Jacksonville. I know a few of you are doing something similar, where you take high school students, get them a 2-year degree, or at least a certificate before they graduate high school, right? It counts. The way we do it in Jacksonville, we bus them over 4 days a week. We're taking 2 classes a week. Each class is 8 weeks. They're doing 4 classes a semester, 4 semesters, and they've got most of the program. If there's some left over, they just finish them off after they graduate high school. That's another great way, I think, to help increase enrollment. Another thing too is that, Maria and my supervisors, we talked once a week about lots of different stuff. One of the ideas we came up with is something called light signing. Fortunately, we have access to a lot of really good in-depth websites that can provide information, economic information, skills needed, that kind of stuff. also a list of all the companies that are there. So I started with, St. John's River. We got together a couple weeks ago, sent a bunch of data over. We're looking at that now. So we're trying to, trying to collectively work together to kind of right size their program for their area, right? What skills, what companies, that thing, hopefully the result of that will be more investment by industry, but certainly more students. So I'll reach out to you guys individually. I'd like to do it with each of the schools. We've got some great data that you might not have access to. I want to share it with you, show you what we've got, and see if we can find any nuggets in the neighborhood as well. And also, a couple more recruitment tactics I use that pulled the program up was, you guys need to market within the school. What we do is I have my advisor link it out to all the AA students that are in engineering area. We have that designation. I said, do you realize, that there's another engineering program, in the world here? It's more hands-on base and not as much theory, but it's actually practice what we learn. That kind of stuff. And I said, if you're interested, come in. I had 20 students come in and saw it and said, yeah, I'm coming to your program. I knew about 20 students. Then over the next 3 or 4 months, I got about 10 more coming in. I was like, I do that periodically. The other one is, I got some really key people, that went through Ron's program, from homeschool. You have to talk to your local homeschool and have them come in and do a tour. They're going to be the best students. They know how to research. They have to find the answers, but there's no teacher that's showing them how to do it. They have to go out and figure out how to get things done. Their parents may or may not, or whoever's teaching them, their organization, know what they're doing. So it's great if you can get some of those in. They're usually my best people. I always get about 3 or 4 years. It's always dangerous handing Sam the mic, but we can put it in this right. All right, so I think I'm just gonna ask one more question of the group, any last thoughts, but before I do, I'm gonna round of applause for our panel up here. We're gonna appreciate that. So we'll do one more last thought, and then we'll head up to the tour.
So I think the pandemic is global, but it did shine a light on the importance of manufacturing in the United States. And so what I've seen in that 7 years that I've been in this role at the university is, bipartisan support for growing U.S. manufacturing. So you all play a very important role in that. And I think it's just going to continue to grow. And you'll likely see more resources. We're starting to see the beginning of that. You don't know what's going to happen, right? Congress is going to do that, right? But there is interest in trying to be a more sustainable people for government. You guys are keeping it in mind. ROS, Robot Operating System. ROS, Robot Operating System. Look at ROS-I, which is process.
And I would just encourage you, if you haven't worked with your local program source, to reach out and to see if they have any resources available to you or for your companies.
And, the advanced technologies are here. They're already here. We have a lot of manufacturers. We still have to take advantage of what's out there, but a lot of that depends on the skills of the people that they have and that they're able to add to their it just comes down to you've got to convince the students to do something accurate.
Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate the panelists. Let's see, the St. John's River team, you gonna take on a tour? Yes. All right, just get ready to go. We'll follow the team over here. I don't know who else you want to have. Susan, John, probably. I'll be. Okay, so let's meet out front. We're gonna meet out front over here where you came in, the main entrance. Spend time. Thank you. And then we'll go from there. So those are the things that are happening to us. Sally's got our quality program rolling.
We're actually getting companies asking for training now on the non-credit side that she's preparing up. And she has revamped a little bit more, get control. Our students graduate now, they're gonna have the white belt in all the disciplines, specializations. Everybody's just about getting a white belt now because of the way she's scheduled it up. All the quality students are gonna get the yellow, and pretty much most of them are gonna be getting green. And that's what we're working on now, is getting the green up and going. Some people just don't take it for whatever reason, but we're pushing to make it mandatory now, so they have to take the test whether they pass it or not. One thing I do, and I'm gonna tell you, most of you may not do this, but I do it in my program. I do not tie their certification exam to their final grade. They're required to take the test. If they show up and take it, I give them 70% for just showing up and taking it for that. But I don't, that's not passing for the exams. I go below whatever the passing rate is. If it's 70, I go down and give them a 69 or something. But I try not to make that certification exam tied to their grade. They did the work, they did everything, they did good. Some people just can't take tests, and that's what you have to look at. So when we go in there, that's kind of the way we schedule our students to go in. And what we found out, we couldn't even get them to take the test at all. Even if I said it's required, it's gonna affect your grade, nobody showed up for the test. I was shocked. I'm like, just show up. And the only way I could get them to show up is say, oh, by the way, I'll give you 70% if you show up. Boom, everybody la-di-da shows up. So you have to give them some incentive, and that's kind of what we did.
Who are you? Okay, my name is Sam Aldridge. I'm from State College of Florida, down in Sarasota and Bradenton. Actually, main campus is Bradenton. We also have Lakewood Ranch, and we're looking at establishing a campus in Parrish. So eventually we'll expand to that. As far as the program, our program was pretty static up until recently. We have experienced about 2% gain coming out of COVID. So we are beginning to increase our enrollments. As far as where we're moving the program, we intend to move it more toward manufacturing to address Industry 4. I am MSSC certified and looking to be CPT plus certified as soon as I can get that course. And we're also looking at possible collaborations with companies like Goodwill. I've talked to them. They got plenty of people that need to be trained, and they are willing to send them to us. So we're looking at establishing synergies between them. The other thing I'm looking at doing is also establishing synergies with Florida A&M University, and we already have Daytona State as the place for our students to go after. So we have that articulation, but we also looking, some of our students are very interested in going to Florida A&M, so we want to give them a pathway. We compete with Gator Engineering. I don't know if you're familiar with that, which is students come to us, they get an associate degree, the AA degree, and then they go to University of Florida for the second 2 years. And what I've experienced is also those students come over to engineering technology looking for courses that have hands-on, that have components to it. And then we have gained a couple of those students, but I haven't done a campaign yet. So I see that as being a very high potential avenue to actually go get some more students.
Yep. Recruit within.
Yeah. The other thing we're doing is we stood up a robotics program last year, taught robotics for the first time. We have a FANUC, it's an old one, but it has leaky joints and some stuff like that. But
So do I. I have leaky joints and everything, but it still function, right?
Yes, it does. So what we use that and our mechatronics equipment to actually teach the first course. We were promised a new FANUC robot, and the money actually ended up going to the dental department. So that was, but anyway.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah. But we are working furiously on curriculum also. That's the other thing building.
Hey, well, one more exciting thing about spring of next year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, yeah.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to say it.
Yes,
Okay.
good.
All right, next year, we have invited Engineering Technology Forum to come to our campus. And it will be hosted probably at 26 West, which is our innovative technology center. So, I was embarrassed of the fact that we only had one room until I saw one room here. And actually, we have one room on 2 campuses. So, but anyway, you will be coming to visit us, this spring.
All right.
All right.
I think State College of Florida had the first Canuck robot in the state.
I think so, I
I
heard
think
that.
Adrian bought it
Yeah.
eons ago.
When was the last time you were there?
I think it was 2011, 2012, old flat over in our corner. I think mentions that.
Is that Marilyn's name on it? She's been around. for a
Adrian
long
Goldchick
time.
was here, got before you.
So my enrollment's up too, I forgot to mention that, so we're back to pre-COVID plus, and we're up a lot more than 1 or 2%, we're up a little bit higher, so we're seeing a lot coming in too.
Hi, everybody. I am Cecilia Larsson, and I work for Seminole State College. And we have the AS in Engineering Technology, and we have increased the number of in-person classes, which is great. We got some mini grants for some more robotic equipment, and so we, added wherever needed. And we are trying to add another certificate, which is the pneumatic, hydraulics, and motors in manufacturing certificate that many of you have, and trying to add some new classes to that, potentially working with hydraulics and motors together and put them together and use that in the class, for example. And we'll see what we will do with that, but otherwise, that's where we are right now.
Hello, I'm Ron England, I'm Daytona State. I did have a handout I put on some of the tables that's, so as part of the work that we're doing with a number of the schools, we are doing some revamping and adding a specialization to the bachelor's degree. In that revamp, it'll be a specialization. So right now, there's a BSET degree and there's an electrical engineering technology specialization of the same degree. We're gonna be adding in an IET, Industrial Engineering Technology specialization. But one of the highlights of that specialization is that one of the goals was to make the ASET to BSET articulation seamless. To do that, on that sheet, we have the take one of these specified classes. And what it does is that you can take, like, for example, quality, you can take ETI 3116, which is an upper level version of it, or you can take ETI 2122. That's the lower level version that we offer. Because we can't really, I think that we have a hard time with classes that we don't offer putting it into our program guides. This is part of the program guide. But the quality control classes that are being offered that are not exactly that number can be substituted as you come in for this number. So what happens is they take ETI 2120, which is another of the same classes. We subbed it as ETI 2122, and they fulfill that specific requirement. That makes that articulation way more seamless to the students. So that's really one of the big goals here. And then when you get down to the core courses, you'll see that that actually follows almost exactly what they're going to see on the FE. And the reason for that is simple. They come in and want to get their PE. Working in a manufacturing setting and having a PE is a huge boost to the students, career-wise, but also in pay. So as they come in, they're usually letting me know, hey, I want to get, and the ones that don't, I talk to them about it. Because I interview all the students coming in, it's like, have you thought about what would happen if you get this, stay in manufacturing, and get your PE? And that kind of spurs them on. Enrollment, we've been up to. Rafael's got way too many classes. I've got way too many classes. It's just what it is. Yeah. But the problems that you can deal with, that's one of the good ones. We've been putting a lot of equipment, so there's a lot of that. Another one that I'm going to be bringing up with the group as we go through this is JSTs, Joint Service, and I know FSTJ because they've got a Navy base real close by. It's a lot of these. I don't know how many of the other schools deal with joint service transcripts, but what I'm asking Maryland to do is, we're gonna try to put onto the FLATE website who is taking in what specific classes underneath the JST and giving credit for what, because it's recruiting of veterans. So the one that I get that is most common is the electronic technician A school. I have one of them right here. And ETA school is a lot of electronics. And if you look at the list of what they take, we automatically, because once I've substituted in this joint service transcript and records has what we take it for, it's automated at that point on.
Right.
So I don't see those anymore because they come in with a JST that has A100-0092, which is the, that's the military ID code. They know that they get credit for ET1011, ET1021, they've got a whole bunch of classes they get credit for. But, and then when they get a JST that they've not seen before, they send it to me and I look at it and I say, give them credit for these classes. But this has been a massive recruiting for me. When a veteran walks in, first thing they go is, what are you gonna give me credit for? And when I can say, here's a list of everything you're gonna get credit for when you walk in the door, they immediately like, okay, where's your application? Let's get signed up.
Yeah.
That's what we got the idea is, let's just put that on the FLATE website, who's giving credit for what, because we want to say, hey, veterans, if you have this JST, you're gonna get these credits.
So the JST is for all the forces, is that?
All the
what it is?
forces, yeah, joint service.
So if they went to Navy electronic school or an Air Force electronic school, is that combined onto one? Or?
So the AA100-092, which is the electronics technician school, is the same for Navy. So they basically, it's the same curriculum for Navy, Army, and
So I don't need to get a smart record or an ACE record, I just use this.
just the one, the JST. So if you were to go to militaryguide.acenet.edu,
Can we get that to Ernie? So we can look at that?
militaryguide.acenet.edu, if you put in, because what they've done is they've commonalized the courses, the systems that are the same. If you were to enter A100-092, it's the military, so everything's gonna have an acronym or a number. You'll see the curriculums that go with it, and it tells you all the outcomes. But I've already processed this one. I've already processed this
When you
specifically.
say process, what do you mean by process?
Well, I've already decided what we give credit for. So records has, anybody that comes in.
So admissions has a list or?
Yeah, admissions has a list. So records, when they come in with that specific military transcript, already knows what they're gonna sign credit for. This one got sent to me because he also had super high frequency communication base and maintenance, which is a pretty high end satellite communications. One, I will give him, but I don't have satellite communications in my curriculum, so what I do is I give him credit. We have a generic code for lower level technical electives that they can use for their lower level technical electives, so that's what I'll actually have to put in that place. So whenever something that they see, a school that they've gone to that they haven't seen before, then I kept this one because I hung on to this one because it's like, oh, good, I've got one of the ETA school ones, because that's one we see all the time.
Okay.
The other one, Nuclear Field Day School, has a lot of stuff in it. NNPS, so the students that have gone to Navy Nuclear Power School have tons, I mean, they cover a lot. That's a two-year program with A school and that, so there's a lot that they cover.
Do you give those to core courses or technical, like?
No, they're, some are core, so in this case, ET1011, ET1011, ET1021, ET1011 is a core. That's 1021 is not. They get credit for, this is CET 1112 for the digital. That's not a core course, that's an elective, but, let's see, industrial safety, I give VTI 1701, their industrial safety is almost exactly the same thing that we do, and that's a core, and I think that's all, like, I got microprocessors, and industrial electronics, those have classes, but those aren't core.
Okay.
So they get some core, every school is different, but as we The other thing would be nice is if you get JST and you're asked to evaluate it, then if we have a database of who's getting credit for what, it makes it a lot easier for you to figure out what to give credit for.
Yeah.
Because every time you look at one of these, it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with this?
You could add to your list DS, the rating from the Navy and FC. They also have this.
The DS and FC, I have that one, yeah.
DS doesn't exist anymore. I was DS. It was.
Yeah, so it's one of the old ones that
Yeah,
doesn't.
it doesn't exist. But
But it's still coded under the JST, all the old schools are still there.
Yeah.
So, there it is, Ace Military Guide, so if you were to type in A-100-0092, that's what this school is. Electronic Submission Combined A School, there you go. And there you go, credit recommendations.
Is that all of them, or you're thinking?
Well, no, A School is, how long is A School? A School is like,
The first level courses.
Like
they
9
take.
months.
Yeah, yeah,
it's a long school.
it
I was in
is.
it for a year when I was in.
Yeah, it's like a year.
they have BEE in the beginning, and then they go to A school, and then you C school.
Right. I get a lot of students from A School, I don't get that many from C School, but I do get a lot from A that add to A School, because that's just really common. And
It was not as common with FCs had it too, but I guess it's.
I get a lot of Navy, and Navy is a big deal. So my MMs and my ETs, my machinist mates have a lot of the motors and controls and all those, and then, they go to MM school, so. But you know, I've seen them, I've done them, this is something that would be useful for everybody. That's great. So we're gonna try to, but I wanna use that, I wanna be able to point to that and say, I don't care where you are, we know what we do with that, and we know how to handle veterans and give them credit. That was all I had. I know it was a lot.
Go ahead, back over to 615.
You're next.
No.
Hand it off.
So this is the Ron and Shirley show. We're at Hillsborough Community College, Ron Smith, my colleague here. So updates from our area, from our neck of the woods. As like people have been saying, our enrollment is up. But since prior to COVID, so we don't know why yet. But we're happy about it. So we have a new program with Tico Alignment Wiring Program that's up and running, that's doing very well. Tico's sponsoring that. I think they gave us like $3 million to get going with that.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Because they install a lot of equipment, poles and.
Training on campus. So we also have they're just about to launch the FinTech program. Big City Corp was the one that was kind of driving that, some of the banks got together, so we got that program just about to launch. We have, of course, we've been approved now to give bachelor's degrees, and our first one is with the BSN nursing, and they are looking at doing the education. They've got some other ones they're working on doing as well, implementing. Since we've been approved to do that, they're moving forward on that. We're also looking at developing the biotech program. We're gonna look at Sid's material. He has, we're gonna do it on the other side of the bay. And one of the ways we have increased some of our enrollment, one of the ways we're using part of COVID was we visit the SLS classes prior to that. And now the teachers that we used to have them come, now they're bringing the students by the lab to see the lab. So I haven't had to go out as much to see them. Now they're coming to me and bringing the students. So that's been really, really cool. Right.
Hi, I'm Sally Abraham, College of Central Florida. My program manager.
Instructor extraordinaire.
Sam Anjani. I'm lucky to have a program manager like him. He come up with new ideas every day. We are planning to add one more certification with quality, that is lean bronze level certification. We just started
Looking at
looking at it. Yeah, that's it.
I don't think John's, and I already talked to, I everyone, so I'm good.
Rafael from the Thurs State College, and I was gonna say everything wrong, just say.
Talk about fame a little bit.
I just need to add a little bit about the FAME program, okay? I'm the lead instructor for the FAME program, and the way the program works is that the students come in to college 2 days a week for 8 hours, okay? So in those 8 hours, they must take all the classes for their degree, they must be a full-time student, and the FAME activities, the FAME, training, they receive the training between classes. Every time there is a gap between the classes, that's when we go in and meet with them and train them with the FAME professional behavior. Because that's what FAME is all about. It's not about all the technical stuff they're gonna learn it from the technical classes, like everybody else, okay? The hands-on experience on the job, they're gonna learn it at the company they're working for. But FAME will develop them into better professionals, better people. Okay, they learn about safety, about how to be organized on the job, how to do the 5S, organized, safety, machine reliability, and also problem solving is a big one, okay? So when they learn those skills, that's when they get their certificate for FAME. Now, for FAME, it's required that they finish their degree. FAME is all or nothing. There is no 90%, there is no 80% to pass. It's 100% or zero, okay? They have zero tolerance for academic performance. So every single class must be passed with a C or better. With the first D that they get dismissed from the program. Okay, so, and of course, you know, they learn all the discipline that they have to have as a professional individual. Any questions about FAME?
How many Ds do you get? Do you have a lot that get out, or is it, so if you start with like X amount, what's your percentage loss for the end?
So to put that in perspective, let me tell you, we started the first cohort with 12 or 13 students, 4 graduated.
Wow.
Okay, but not just for academic performance. Some of them got fired from the jobs because they were not doing the job. I mean, one kid got sleeping on the job. So he lost his job, so if he loses his job, they get dismissed from the program. If they get dismissed from the program because of academic performance, they get fired from the job as well.
Wow.
So remember, FAME is an employer program. It's an employer-led program, right? So the chapter belongs to the Association of Employers, okay? We are just the academic partner. And they work with our curriculum together. They develop the curriculum for FAME. Of course, we have to be very careful because just because they say, no, you're gonna teach this class and this class and this class on the associate degree. I mean, if the state doesn't allow it, we will not do it. You know, we have to work together and find common ground to do that. But it's supposed to be a successful. I mean, the first one went from 12 to 4. The second cohort started at 12 also. Now we're down to 6. And it looks like those 6 are going to make it. That third cohort, we have 13.
Wow.
So it is growing, you know, and that's what it was expected from the beginning. So when I talked to the Toyota guy, with Dennis, the founder, he mentioned that at the beginning, the first 2 years, about 85% of the students get dismissed because several deficiencies, I would say, okay?
So to start with, you're gonna contact your local industry and see if they are ready for such a program. And then you recruit a student and introduce that student to that local industry, or goes the other way around?
No, to start the FAME chapter, now you have to, we went through Toyota because the FAME program, it was on Toyota first, but Toyota now has released the program to the MI, Manufacturing Institute, so you have to go through them to see if they can set you up for a new chapter. Not the college, the employers. In our case, VMA with the Borussia Manufacturing Association are the ones that actually started working with this program back in 2019.
Do they reach out to the manufacturers in your area, or do you?
No, the manufacturers in the area actually found the program somehow in Kentucky, and they inquired about it. And they brought the idea to us, for us to partner with them to create a new chapter. Because it's an employer-led program. So the chapter belongs to the employers. We have seats on the board, but most of the board members are from the employers, right? They have to do the recruiting, and they have to provide a lot of stuff like uniform for the students, for example, it comes from them, right? And the employers also have to be willing to maintain a student on a part-time basis, 24 hours a week, for the complete 2 years of the program.
So the students are employed by the industry, by that employer already.
Yes. So when we get a group of students, right, like for instance, let's say we get 15 candidates. So they have a meeting with the employers at our school. The employers come, they meet all the students, then the employers select the students they want. They do
Interview and all that.
interviews and all that. So it's up to the employer who they want. Okay? And once we have a job for every student, then we go through the orientation process and they start working with the employers in the summer. So the summer, they work full-time. In the fall, they go down to 3 days because they have to come to school for 2 days. Okay, but those, it's actually like a full-time job. Because they have 40 hours, but 24 hours on the job, 16 hours in school.
Can you explain about the training that you had too?
Well, no, of course, the employees, the instructors. In order for us to be trained instructors, we have to go through the training. It is the same training the students go through. Of course, we don't do it in a whole semester. We go for one of the MCA, which is the manufacturing courses exercises, that takes the students the whole semester to go through. We do it in 2 days. 8 hours and 8 hours. But it's all day, right? Students take the whole semester, but sometimes they only need 2 or 3 hours a week because of all the other classes. This semester, for example, I have a group that on Monday we have it for like 3 hours, but on Wednesday we only have it for 30 minutes because that's the only time they have outside the classes. Sometimes, especially on the last semester, we have a whole day of framework, because most of the classes, they already completed and they're doing what's called the capstone course, and that is part of the thing, okay? So they have to do a capstone or an internship or co-op. They don't have to do that no more, because that's what they've been doing throughout 2 years with the FEM program. Yet, they do get credit for the course. They get signed up for the course, but there is no co-op to do it, because they've been doing that for 2 years. And that's how we allocate the FAME activities into the credits in college, because FAME is not a college course. So we cannot give them credit for that, but we can replace the co-op with the FAME activities.
We're gonna do a seminar with you on Zoom coming up.
I put the website up here.
Oh, there it is.
Fame USA, I guess there's a dash in there.
.com.
So there's a lot of information there, including where there's other chapters that have been around, for longer periods of time. There's a nice map. So some of you might want to explore some of the details. There's a lot of structure, like you mentioned, to the program. So there's a lot of pieces, but it does start with a coalition of industry partners that want to have the students that come out of this program.
Now, one thing that I would say though is that last time I was in a training in Indiana, it was in July, because Toyota is not managing this program anymore. It went to the MI, the Manufacturing Institute. They are in the process of trying to figure out how to manage the growth of FAME.
Oh, no way.
Because they have like 80 or 90 colleges applications to start new chapters, and they stop it because they can't manage how fast they're growing.
Okay.
So
They need a representative in each state, it sounds like.
That may be what they
So
did.
here's
Well,
where there's
yeah.
chapters.
Yeah.
For example, where they're managing.
because right now,
chapters
everything is
right now.
centralized with the MI, they have only one rep for the whole nation.
Yeah, they're gonna have to correct that, they're gonna have to get more.
So we'll send out an email and get a meeting together.
Well, that's what I wanna do, and then we'll talk details in that, because we need to move on, but, that's what we need to be looking at. I know I'm interested, so I wanna see what else we can do. All right, Sid, your turn.
Thank you. I'm Sid Martin from St. Petersburg College. Here with Andreas and Greg. It's our show this time. I moved here from Kentucky 2 years ago, and it was huge. So you couldn't go anywhere without competing with Fame at the time. So, and it's just growing. So we've got a lot of activities going on at St. Petersburg College. We've been working on our biomedical engineering technology program. We have a tremendous need in our region for VNUTs, people to repair equipment you find in the hospitals. We all have that need, but there's just more individuals with that training and education needed in our region than we can come close to fulfilling. When I go talk to some employers closer to my friend over here, Shirley, they're talking like they need 30. And we have from 1, up to 30. And we have probably more employers that are talking about 20 or more. One of the things we did was we just completed, I guess it'll be completed tomorrow, a grant activity to put that program into our collegiate high school. So we have students enrolled now who are going through who will finish their high school experience with an AS in biomedical engineering technology. So that's a new program. The employers are excited about it. It creates all kinds of new program issues, like how do they do their internship, and if they're not 18 yet, and we've got plans. This summer, we had a camp, nuts, bolts, and thingamajigs, and these 2 guys did a great job. Had 15 high school students go through the program. Daniele's niece, I think, also went through the program, so it was a great experience. We also had the FLATE Teachers Camp. We hosted that, and that was great. We had teachers from across the state, and we had them busy. I don't think they got to sit down. And they actually liked that, because we went from one activity to the next activity. We had a great lunch in between. And it was, we had do-bots, we had all kinds of stuff going on. So that was an excellent experience. Enrollment for us is kind of strange, because in a way it looks like it's down. And at least from those people who handle our budget tell us it's down. But our engineering technology program is just being pilfered. As soon as we get a student through intro to electronics, motor controls, in the PLCs, they're gone. And so we have some drop in enrollment in engineering technology. The other programs are slightly up. We have an event coming up on Tuesday. We call it the Manufacturing, Engineering, Construction, and Architecture Expo. We have 1,000 students, middle school and high school, coming to campus. 800 of those from Pinellas County schools. We had the event in the spring, we're having it again in the fall. And the reason we moved it to the fall was that schools can use Perkins money to pay for the buses. And if you've never tried to get a bus in Florida, I mean, when I was in Kentucky, $100, $200 get you a bus. Here it's like $1,200, $1,300 a bus for maybe not even a whole day. So that's a big win. What we do is we set up the employers in a room like this, and they come in and they don't show their wares. What they show is what they do in their industry. So if you came to work in manufacturing, this is what you would do. If you come to work in construction, this is what you would do. If you want to be an engineer, this is what engineers do. And so they have giveaways and things like that, but it's really to talk about what the career is. We'll have representatives from industry giving short 10 to 15-minute talks because the 45-minute ones didn't work. I mean, they got through it, but the students complained. The goal is to have them like this, right? So give them 10 minutes of why you love your life, you know? So we've got the labs set up and have activities in the labs. We have people from local companies coming in to man those labs. We have students doing some projects. It'll be a good time. Working on a couple of grants. Hopefully they'll be submitted and approved by tomorrow. And let's see, we've been working heavily with our advisory board. We've had collaboration sessions. The third one happened today while we're here. But working with employers about what they actually need, what skills they need. And I'm almost done. I know you're gonna give you a little.
Yeah, you're running way over.
I don't know. Ron took a long time. So,
We charged him, though. You know, we charged him.
well, okay, the last thing it has to do with money. Hey, I charge my family $100 for a photograph.
You said after PLC motors are gone, meaning they got hired?
Yeah, they get hired. Yeah, they get hired. As soon as they have those 3 courses,
The 3 being PLC motors and.
intro to electronics, the first one, or electrical theory, they get an intro course.
So when you say they're going, they drop the program?
Yeah, they leave the program. What we're trying to do is to go out and talk to those employers. Over the last year and 3 months or so, I've talked to 80 employers. I'm trying to say, hey, could you send them back? You know, tell them as part of their promotional activity or something like that, take 1 course a semester, whatever, just have them keep moving forward. Last thing is related to FLATE, so it's a FLATE announcement. I did go to the Manufacturing Momentum Conference where we talked a lot about FLATE, what FLATE does. The DoD is really concerned, as I think most of us know, that there aren't enough engineering technicians in this country. And that if we don't have a huge number of ETs graduated in the near future, it's a national concern. So the DoD held, or there was a conference, the Manufacturing Momentum Conference, and it was a good discussion, a lot of support for engineering techs. Great, thank you. Thank you.
All right, rest of you just have to wait and sit to the rest of it.
My name is Maurice Tusi from Hope State College. Before I forget to say that we have exact same problem that State does. As soon as the students take safety, quality, introduction to electronic and AutoCAD, they're gone. They get full-time job offers by just AutoCAD and bring them back to school difficult. Same thing with motors and controls and so on. Our program is very unique. I will be very brief because it's standing right there. We offer open entry early exit. It means all of our courses are available every single day of the year. The student can register. So now that I'm sitting here, I may have a student tomorrow in my class, not my classes, or the program classes, starting now. And it's all of our courses, 100-hour course. So when they come in, they have 25 business day to finish that course. So the instructors go with individual students, self-paced. All of our students, they come to the lab to do the lab assignment individually. They utilize the software and they go online 4 o'clock in the morning. If they're done, if they're ready to do that particular lab, they make a click, they make an appointment with their instructor. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I'm coming to the lab to do my lab number 3 in electronics. They're ready for it. Or for it. So everything is self-paced. Everything is pretty much automatic, and it's a little bit hectic for us to manage that, but it's very unique because it serves the industry very well. When most of our students are married, they have life, they're working full-time, they can study their materials online, they can come on their time, do their lab assignment whenever they're ready. I mean, they can do, of course, within 25 business days. So that's our program. Our enrollment has been increased pretty much about 15% or there 18%. Now we have 148 students in 2 specialization, advanced manufacturing and mechanical design fabrication. Most increase is in mechanical design fabrication. 8 brand new freshmen from high school, which we usually don't get freshmen from high school. Now this semester we have 8 of them. And we reached out to our former students. They came and took some courses and they were gone. Now I have designated academic advisor for my program because we are unique. I have some leverage with FLATE. So I asked that academic advisor, please review these students and make them the list. These were in our program 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they're gone. Go out and reach them and bring them back, and that happened. That works, really works. So part of our increase because of those students, and we increase on dual enrolled students. We used to have like 6 or 7, now we have 14 dual enrolled students. So that's our program.
Are you the only one doing this one?
Yeah, we are the only one that's doing 1 credit hour course and open entry ABA.
Wow, this is
Every comes from, if a student comes from industry and have years of experience in electronics and taking introduction to the electronics, there is no reason for me to hold that person. So he goes through the program, takes the exam, he does the lab assignment, not that the other person can go, no. He does the lab assignments. The grading is direct assessment between faculty and the student. Learning is a self-learning. So that students can finish that program, that course, 2 days or 3 days. Yeah.
How many instructors do you have? How many?
Yeah, that's a good thing because you typically get adjunct student, adjunct faculty. Because of that, I get 2 full-time faculty, permanent faculty, and 1 adjunct. So 3 faculty can handle, and for the same reason that operation system is different, I have 3 part-time lab assignments, the lab assistants. So we are working pretty much like emergency room in hospital. That's a good point. We are waiting there for patients coming, but those patients are making that point. I mean, I get the signal, I get a notification from that software, I don't answer, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, somebody makes an appointment to come and do the lab assignment tomorrow. We make a requirement, yeah, appointee, yeah. We pay $220 a year for that software we bought it. And we make it 24 hours requirements for the students to make advanced appointment. But I've told my faculty, please do not turn student back if it's not 24 hours. You're here to teach, this is public property, and this student is here to learn. Let them have it. Don't turn them back.
Hello, I'm Christopher Krumke. I'm with the College of Central Florida, and basically I'm working on a project to get together like a auto mechanics program with like local industries like E1, they make fire trucks and whatnot, and also we just got a motors and controls trainer for down patrol, and we're gonna, get people trained on that. So besides that, and the Finooks, if you guys need any help with anything, you know where to find us, and we're going to like that.
Right here.
All right.
So Sam, you need
me help you with that opener? This guy's expert.
Okay.
I trained him personally.
All right.
I'm Jeff Miller with Miami-Dade College. I'm coming to Kendall campus. I say it that way because we're very broad. The college itself has 8 campuses, but we primarily have 3, with the many things that we deal with, north, the downtown one, which is Wilson, and then I'm at Kendall. We're all doing pretty good. I mean, we have our differences in enrollment, but at Kendall, our enrollment is up. I didn't track the number. I know our advanced digital class, which is our second year class, we had 36 students in the start of the semester. I think we still have all 36 in there now. The first class, the DC course, we have, I think there are 28 in it right now. And then in January, what we found out is since we do a cohort start, if students miss it or they fail it, the fall term DC class, we try to catch them in the spring. So we'll offer DC and digital in the spring, and then in the summer, we'll pick them up with AC circuits. And then after that, it's fall, spring, summer, graduate with the AS. And then hopefully they stick around for our bachelor's program. Our bachelor's program has done very well. It's offered at North and Campbell. And we had 18 more graduates this past spring. I believe all of them have jobs. 2 of them did opt to take advantage of our articulation agreement. I think 1 is at FAU and 2 are at FIU. We have articulation to them for a master's degree for that. And everyone seems to be doing good. Median salary seems to be about $83,000 for starting. We're finding that, and employers are coming to us for that. We're doing more. And finding instructors has been rough, really rough. It's. I call, see, I had to put a class on, and we figured out last minute. We have been doing internships. We have grants. We're working with the Department of Defense. Students have gone on internships to Kansas City, nuclear, and out to Los Alamos, and some students stay, other people come back and stay. So we have been doing more live. One thing what the college has done is we have in-person classes, which is preferable. We have MDC live, which is, we'll teach a class Monday, Wednesday, 5 o'clock, but it's online, but it's online, live. They do it that way. And we have gone back to being in class for anything that has to do with a lab. So if we're teaching economic analysis or safety, it could be something that would be online. But I did think safety should be incoming. I like to tell, this is a hard act. Like stuff. Enrollment efforts, our enrollment, I can see is up. Efforts have been with high schools, with dual enrollment, with industry. We're trying to get the word out. It's not that thing that, hey, when you want to be engineering, they think engineering is still with the camp counselors. Engineering. Why would I go to your school? It's going to, I'm going to go to a university to finish. In my department, we have 5 bachelor's degrees, I think 6 now, that the school offers for bachelor's programs. Getting the camp counselors, parents, to understand they can go to the local school and get a bachelor's degree and get a job, which would be the objective of going to school. And you're learning quite a bit. We still get people coming back. One of you mentioned it. They want more hands-on. We do hands-on. We're not low-tech. We have classrooms, tests. We have labs. We have projects. Do your projects. They have to do their projects. They have to be able to present their projects. So they're learning that as a job skill also. The courses that seem to be doing very well for employment early on, we do advanced digital. We're teaching VHDL and PLCs, and they go. We have a new Robotech lab. Recruitment is up. We go to the introduction to engineering class and try to get them out. I did talk to our college advisors, and I said, if a student utters the word electrical or computer, stick them into DC circuits class. Just put them in there. Then we'll have them in the classroom in front of us
And we can discuss it with them in the first week of school. If they're in the wrong program, AS versus AA, then we can move them. It's a very small move because it's only involving one course. But they might like our program and they're in it, versus a year down the road saying, oh, I didn't even know this was here. I don't know what to do. And off they go to some university. We are still doing strong in other things outside of electronics within our program for data analytics, cybersecurity, and we started a new AI certificate and bachelor's degree. What are you not doing? No, well, I do interior design and architecture too. You're welcome to do it, I just can't do it all. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Wow. All right, that's great, thanks.
Hi, I'm Bruce Escher from Eastern Florida State College. For those who don't know, we have 4 campuses. They're Titusville, Cocoa, Melbourne, and Palm Bay. I'd first like to talk about something we did over the summer that worked out quite well. We ran a series of IPC certification classes. There are 3 credit, 48 contact hour classes. We ran them 1 week long each. So the students were in class 6 days by 8 hours to meet the 48 contact hour thing. And the classes were capped at 12 students because that's an IPC requirement. But by doing that, we were able to award or have students attain, I should say, they don't come from us, they come from IPC. So 48 IPC certifications in that 6-week period. There was a week in the middle where we rented out our soldering lab to IPC to go do train the trainer to go be soldering instructors throughout the nation. So we did a lot of effort. This was all done at the behest of the Economic Development Council. They said that the industry had come to them and said they needed people trained in soldering. And we said, well, if you're gonna pay for it, we'll do it. And they did. The Economic Development Council funded all the students' tuition and lab fees to get it done. So it worked out wonderfully. Mir taught every one of the courses. Sean and I did all of the everything, paperwork, coordination.
So you guys did the work and you just did it all.
Well, he just did what he does all the time, teach the class. But yeah, it worked out great. I'd like to talk about enrollment for a minute. We took about 50% hit in enrollment with COVID. We've recovered about half of that this time. So we're on the mend. So we're doing good. I think part of the reason there is I avoided online like the plague because all my students always say to me, I want to touch it. And I agree, if you can get it from a book, go read a book. Okay, so I think that we probably did well that way. We're putting a new STEM building on the Melbourne campus, and probably the engineering technology program will be consolidated there in a year or 2.
So all of it from all the campuses over there?
The machining one.
Oh.
Machining has got some large, heavy requirements, so it probably won't be. Which brings, that's a good segue actually to the other thing I want to talk about. We're looking at adding the mechanical design and fabrication specialization of the degree. That would mean the Eastern Florida and then has 4 of the engineering technology specializations. So that would be good. It's always been a red-headed stepchild for us because the courses in the CNC CCC, I just love these acronyms, the CNC CCC are not common with any other program. But when they get into the specialization, then they've got all the core courses that are common, and that makes sense. That will be Cocoa campus. So we're going to have engineering technology in the future on the Cocoa, Melbourne, and Palm Bay campuses. So right now it's almost exclusively Palm Bay, but going forward it will be spread much more. Another thing we're doing, we teach an aerospace AS degree program, which we fought with them for many, many moons over students. We split enrollment with them. We both teach electronics, we both teach fluids and stuff like that. We're looking at taking those courses that are common between us and combining. They have an actual tremendous aerospace fluids course. It makes our hydraulics and pneumatics look like, you know, the first year. So we're gonna be combining a lot of the courses with them. An issue I have there is, we're an open enrollment, open exit program kind of thing. They're a cohort. How do I get cohort of students to work with our program when the scheduling is all different? So the first part of that is just if they have that course there, we give them credit for our share if they enroll in it.
You're retiring,
I'm retired, what do I care? Nonetheless, I'd like, you wanna leave on a good note, right? That's okay, I deserve it. That about covers it. Any questions?
All right, let's get on back here. Next college. We go again? No way.
Hello, this is Fatih Agma, I'm the Associate Dean of Engineering and Industry. We have 6 different programs in our department, and we are covering the aviation in the North Campus, and in the downtown campus we have the engineering, manufacturing, building, construction, architecture, biomedical, and different programs we are covering. For most of our programs, the enrollment increased, fortunately, this year, and we have been trying to increase the enrollment for the next year, so we are focusing on the different types of marketing strategies for next year. And for the internship, we have been sending our students to hospitals, different companies, and so on. So we have been trying to find new companies to send our interns as well. And another thing is we have been trying to update our courses to include more updated topics like robotics, AI, and other topics. So we have been preparing a new AS program about AI. So we have defined all the courses and so on. So we are trying to send this curriculum to the curriculum committee in a few weeks. We have opened a new concentration about engineering management under business administration, bachelor degree. So we start to teach this course. And then in 2 years, we are planning to open also AI applications, bachelor degree. We are planning to buy more lab equipments to support the different labs such as the robotics, AI, and PLC and so on. Especially, we are trying to connect the PLC labs with the robotics to simulate the big facilities. Right now, in our robotics lab, for instance, we have more than, I guess, 20 different robots. So we have been trying to clarify, what type of education materials we have to use, and which robots we have to focus for the next years and so on. So basically, this is the summary.
Yes, my name's Patrick, and I grew up at Florida State College, Jacksonville, about 20 miles down the road. The T is our associate dean. Most of what he said, pretty much, other than I would say most of our funding that we're grant funded. I know there some people find difficulty getting grants. That seems to be the one thing we haven't had too much ability that I don't. Couldn't tell you.
That's a market area,
It's probably, I'd say that has a lot to do with it, and we'll team up with different community colleges. Maybe we gotta get together and do one. Okay, I guess that's everything I've got to talk about.
I've already talked, and I don't need a mic. Hi everybody, my name is Andres Carnas. I work in Pitt College. Still already cover most of the summer in BC. In the summer, thank you to FLATE for seeing they involved us in the teachers camp. We also did the summer camp, the NDT Foundation, and I've been busy helping writing a proposal. So hopefully it's my first proposal in the college. So hopefully we'll get it.
Over here, so I'm not back there. Hello, I am Bill Patrick. I'm at Indian River State College. I've been there about 10 years, but I'm new to what I'm doing there. I was staff at the time and did adjunct work, and then they just said, hey, we got a spot. Come on. Of course I can. So let's see, what have we had? Florida makes was at the college September 6th. Yeah. Our brand new building is the Eastman building. It's building O, which already exists. Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen to the old building, but the new one is being, the grand opening is on the 1st, which is where I work at. We have 2 big classrooms full of, well, pretty much everything. So it's probably the same. Okay. All right. But now here's where it gets into that. So I mean, it's set up pieces here. So it's just sitting there. We did get most of it dialed in. The smart factories working, the cobot is working. Finally, they had to send a tech out and they had to replace some parts. And the skill bus is not working.
Which one did you get? You said skill box, was it for the CPT or?
Yeah. Yeah, the one with the 2 levels.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen it. So. Our enrollment is back to pre-COVID days, and it's increased since then, so we're on track. Then to brag again, I was able to buy, because I really wanted to get like a soldering set up and soldering and rework stuff like that. And they let me buy a lot of hackers. 206, 204, 203. I was very happy with that. That's it.
Hey, Sam.
I'm sorry.
That's a good point. If we stop here, we're back on time.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna add one thing.
Okay.
Yes,
What?
yes. I did already do.
This is, yeah, the battery's dead.
Okay, I'll talk loud. I'll use my teacher voice. So, one thing I wanted to add is that we had a student graduate from our program, and she went on to Roundtable, and now she's finishing as her bachelor's degree, and we're like, yay, I actually have a sighting of someone who graduated in that program. The other thing is we did necessary skills now, which it shows that there's 89% of the, I thought it was 86, 89% of the people that lose their job is because of soft skills. They have the technical skill, but they're losing because of going to sleep, not being on time, not dressing correctly. So what we have now is and we're doing the necessary skills now as a module, as a beta in one of my courses. And so what we cover is professionalism, resumes, dependability, ethics. One of those students did not know what ethics was. So I share this because I started the class, we had a company come on campus to do an interview, and I took a student down there. So he was gonna miss my class. As I was walking away from the interview, she was talking to him, I heard her ask one of the very same questions I was gonna cover that day out of the necessary skills module that I'm putting in there. So the necessary skills module just covers all the soft skills that they should know that they're getting. So we're having very good interaction with my students there. They're covering a lot of the things that manufacturers are asking that they're firing the students for. We're covering in there, I'm giving them discussions, they're giving them scenarios, they're covering some of the things they'll be prepared when they go through the interview, and they're learning what the expectation is of the manufacturers, how they're to dress, how they're to behave, how they're to treat people. They talk about behaviors and attitudes. So I think it's a very good module that I put in, and so I'm going to add it to some of my other courses. It has interviews with a company, people talking about what they want, what their expectations are to, and their character. It talks about character. So I just wanted to add that. That is really
You went way over.
Oh, Bill. Oh, yeah, come on.
Yeah, a couple quick things. Yeah. So I'm Andrew Ford, from College. Couple quick things. Our college is getting a new president as of January 1st. Shadowing our current president, Dr. Beers, for February 1st. For me, my enrollment's done pretty good, not too bad there. Couple cool things our college is doing, we are hosting two, DEX competitions for middle high school students, one November, one in January, excited about that, and DEX competition for middle high school, and finally, I guess, another exciting thing we got going on. Three, Pascal and Amanda, companies to agree to let our students come on board for a manufacturing, we're gonna go and visit.
Okay, good. All right, next thing for this is the vendor break. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna have you talk after the vendor break.
Oh,
So you guys go ahead and go back there, bye. We're gonna get a quick 5-minute update from FAMU. And we're gonna see what's going on with them. So here you go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ben Shadra from FAMU. Many of you know me. It is my great pleasure to be here for second time. Thank you very much. I actually, what happened to us? I'm gonna talk about us. So we have two programs. Who has 83 years old here? Nobody? One of them 50 years, the other one 33 years of ABET accreditation. So half a century, 1/3 of a century. EET program, Electronics Engineering Technology program, and CET program, Construction Engineering Technology program. So we have this history, and that doesn't have, I think, any competitor in this way, and those programs are ABET accredited, so they can be PE, and for our case, they can be also contractors. So the problem though is that after COVID, we have the problem that some of you had, and we restarted this year. We are better, but we are working aggressively, as you have noticed, for having more accreditation, for more actually work with you to have a 2+2 programs with any of you, and it is going to be great for us, and for sure we can do this agreements and collaboration all together. The other thing that I wanted to, for our electronics, we are going to add some sort of branch or a way that the students have more robotics on it, and also for our faculty, we didn't have recruitment last year, and that was the result that we didn't have that many students, but this year we are working on that. And if I want to go further, our problem with our programs is that we are architecture and engineering technology school, so we are not seen. People come for engineering, but they don't know engineering technology is under architecture. So you are those who can help us other than ourselves. We were talking with Sam, such that even if you go for your high school, for example, recruitment, we can be there. We can be as part of the your program. We can be in Zoom with your program, and they know that, oh, we can go further to bachelor's degree. We are working also on master's degrees, and I'm hopeful that we can get them soon. And I think we have good connections with best companies. Actually, they want our students. So most of the time when they start, when they come from an AS or AA, the same term, they can get a chance for internship in the summer. So they will continue working, and that is something that you might have had in your programs also. We have that also. And we want more diversity. Everybody thinks that, okay, FAMU is an African American, Black university. No, we want diversity, and you are also our partner in that. You are going to help us, hopefully. We are going to go forward with that. And that is it. I think I mentioned most of what I wrote here. Probably I missed. And thank you very much again for having us. Yeah, and having
Ben, I have a question.
Yes.
You say you're thinking of a master's program, is that a master's in engineering technology?
Actually, we before COVID, we had a plan for a Master of Construction Management and Engineering Technology. We go until the last step and then COVID happened. And then they froze all of the new programs. And right now they want the enrollment to be high. So right now we are making a kind of another way. We go with innovation and engineering technology. So in this way, we will have architecture and different fields of engineering technology as branches of it, and we can have the master. We are hopeful that this year we can get that approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben, I appreciate that. Ben's gonna have a Zoom meeting with me on some articulations for engineering technology. And then we're working on agricultural, because we have a big agribusiness class too, that we're working separately on that as well. If any of you want to do a articulation with them, because you have some students that might want to go to FAMU, because they've got a good reputation, you need to, especially their engineering. I'm real impressed with a lot of their engineers coming out.
I'm an alum of that.
And we got alumni in our programs. I was about to ask him, do you know if there's any instructors that are alumni? So we got one here. So Sam will tell you all about it, but I'm gonna do one with him if I can make it happen as soon as I can. And if more of us want that, we maybe need to look at our articulation with statewide, kind of that type of thing, yeah. Go ahead and get started with the ARM presentation. So we're gonna have Susie go over this. So let's pay close attention, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Again, as I said earlier, what we do doesn't look anything like what you do, but we're here as a support organization. And so what I want to do is give you a little bit more background on who we are and what we do and how we're trying to help. So go to the next slide. So we are the nation's leading robotics and AI manufacturing innovation institute. Lots of words. What does that mean? So I'll tell you a little bit about what that means. Next slide. So what happened was back in around 2010, there was a decision made by the administration at that time, which was Obama administration, to start to create a series of advanced manufacturing institutes across the United States. And it was modeled after, some of you may have heard of this, in Germany they have something called the Fraunhofer Institutes. And these have been around for 20, 30, 40 years, right? And Germany is looked at as one of the leaders in the world in terms of advanced manufacturing. So the thought was we would try to do something like that in the United States. And so these institutes were started. There's 17 of them across the United States. They're focused in different areas. There's ones that are focused in lightweight materials. There's ones that are focused in advanced fabrics, ones that are focused in additive manufacturing and 3D printing. Ours focuses robotics and AI. Our headquarters is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We were spun out of Carnegie Mellon University, which is top school for robotics and AI in the world, actually. And our focus is to really help manufacturers take advantage of advanced technology in robotics and AI, and help support an infrastructure with all the work that you're doing to make sure that there's a skilled workforce. To date, we've received about $120 million, and that sounds like a lot of money. So how do we use that money? A lot of that money goes into funding technology projects. And by technology projects, what I mean is that we have a consortium of about 400 members, and they build teams to work on some of the problems that are preventing, especially small, medium-sized manufacturers from using robotics. What are some of those problems? Easier to reprogram and reuse. Interoperability with other equipment that's maybe on the floor that it needs to be able to talk to more easily. Solving some of those dull, dirty, dangerous jobs that human beings don't want to do anymore. So a lot of our technology projects focus around that. And the way that it works is that when the output of those technology projects is available, it's available for use by any of the members in our consortium to use in their manufacturing environments. So that's how that model works. So that's what our mission is. Our goal is to make robotics, autonomy, and AI more accessible to U.S. manufacturers, large and small. Train and empower the manufacturing workforce. We are not doing the training, you're doing the training. We're trying to create a better environment and make the White House and administration and the federal government better understand what's needed to support organizations like yours so that we can train that workforce. strengthen our economy and global competitiveness, and elevate national security. We're funded primarily from the Department of Defense. Why? Because the Department of Defense considers the fact that we don't make a lot of the things that we use every day here in the United States a national security issue. And I always said that if we only rely on ourselves, we'd have no electronics and we'd be naked, sitting on the ground, right? We want to have a phone, we make no electronics here. We grow 70% of the world's cotton, but we make 3% of the world's clothing in the United States. We ship that other percent over someplace else. And we used to make a lot of furniture here. We don't make any furniture here anymore, or very little, right? And so it is a national security issue, which is why the government cares about US manufacturing on all kinds of different facets. That's why I exist, right? So I would love to work with every one of you. There's 30 people in our entire organization. We're trying to work at the macro level so that we can have impact, so they can come down and help all of you and help our manufacturers in the Florida area. So how do we do that? As I mentioned, we have this consortium. It's about 400 members. We have some of the largest manufacturers in the world, like Siemens and Intel and Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Johnson & Johnson as members, small, medium-sized manufacturers, large research institutes like Princeton and MIT and Carnegie Mellon. University of Florida is a member, and we have community colleges, technical schools. You guys are welcome to join. If you would like to join, I'd be happy to give you information on doing that. But our goal with the consortium is to understand what are the challenges across the country and how can we have the most impact on the most regions across the country. So we have this ecosystem. We have technology development, as I just talked about, and education and workforce development. And that's where I want to spend a little bit of time is talking about that. We go to the next slide, yeah. So we can't train. We don't want to train. We don't need to train. You're training. You're doing a great job preparing the workforce. But what we found when we talked to a lot of our members was that nobody knew that these training programs existed. Nobody understood what the value of these training programs were. And nobody understood what skills they needed in order to go into manufacturing, working with robotics. There are pockets of that knowledge, but I always compare it to an accounting degree, right? When I say an accounting degree, everybody knows what that means, right? They know what it means at a bachelor level, an undergraduate level. They know what a CPA is. If you see a job description for an accountant, it pretty much looks like the same job description for any other accountant at any other company. That's not true for robotics and robotics technicians in manufacturing. It's all over the place. The job descriptions don't match, the titles don't match, nobody understands the career paths easily. So there isn't that national understanding of what this career is. And that's the problem that our consortium asked us to help solve, was to make it more understandable for anyone who's interested in going to robotics, going into manufacturing using robotics, what that kind of career would look like and what skills and capabilities they needed. So we created this platform. It's called roboticscareer.org. It is free to use. Anybody can use it. And it is an online platform. You can go take a look at it and I'll show you in a minute. And it really serves three different audiences. It serves you guys, education providers, education seekers, and education and job seekers, and employers. We started with training programs and we've since added jobs. We have almost 17,000 training programs across the United States that are listed on here. Most of yours are on here. I'll show you the list of everybody that's on here. We'll talk a little bit about what that is. And we've got, it varies of course, because we get new data 3 times a week, an average of 1,300 to 1,500 jobs that have the word robot in the title that are in manufacturing. So very specific, very different from going to an Indeed or something like that, because these are manufacturing jobs using robotics in the United States. Then we have a third a program that we started called an endorsement program. And this is a paid-for program, but it's where we conduct an audit and help you understand if you're doing the training that employers are saying they need, and that you're meeting some basic capabilities for training. So we've got about 40 programs that we've endorsed to date with this program. Next slide. So how do we figure out how to do this, and why is this different from any other site? What we decided to do was go and actually take a look at, working within our consortium and industry experts, what are some of the skills and competencies that industry is telling us that they want and they need, right, for these jobs. And so what we decided was, we were just gonna start with trying to define a career pathway, because one didn't exist that we could find, that, and with the goal of refining it and making sure it made sense. So we have a robotics technician at kind of a basic level, a specialist, and an integrator. These are titles that are looked at very differently in the industry. We're trying to kind of get to some normalization here. But what's most important is we looked at what are some of the key competencies that somebody in that job at that level should have. And then I know you talked about soft skills. We also looked at what are the soft skills that are required to work in this environment today. And what we did was we took these and mapped them against the 17,000 programs that are out there. So not only are you just seeing that somebody has a program, it's telling somebody that they're acquiring these competencies and skills as a result of using that program. And that's where we think we've done something that's different and adds value to the industry. So what's out there? It provides information about your manufacturing and your robotics programs to potential students nationwide. And that includes US territories too, just in case. Provides information about career pathways and jobs to your students. And it allows your students to create accounts to track existing and desired skills and competencies and their job desires. So for those of you who have students or are interested in careers using robotics in manufacturing, this is a resource for them. It's completely free for them to use. And it helps them get a better handle on what's available. These are all the schools that we have listed in roboticscareer.org right now. Hopefully yours is up there. If it isn't, let me know, we'll get it up there. But here's where I need your help. We went out to your data, we went out to your websites and got your information. We hope it's right. So what we've done, if we go to the next slide, is we need you to go on robotics. I need you to go on roboticscareer.org and look at your information and make sure it's okay and make sure it's right. Make sure that we have the right competencies and skills associated with it. Again, because if we didn't talk to you personally, and most of you we didn't talk to because it's really hard to get hold of you, we got your information off your website, right? Make sure your skills and competencies are, make sure the contact person is right? Make sure the type of degree is, and guess what? You can get on yourself and fix it if you want, or if you need help, you can fill out the contact us form and we'll help you do that. So my big ask of you is help us update this information. We've had close to 1 million people visit this site since we last launched it 2 years ago. We've sent over 500 referrals to schools. We don't know if you're getting them or not, right? Because we don't really have that capability yet. But we are trying to send referrals to you for people that are interested. So look at this as another free marketing tool for your programs, because that's really what it is, and that's what we're trying to do for you. Make sure your information is updated. Questions?
Is there a national robotics conference coming up in November?
Is there a couple things. If you would like to join our consortium, which you can join at a partner level, which means that you pay us no fees, then you just let me know, or you can go on the artinstitute.org website and learn about membership. And we do have our annual member meeting that's coming up in November in Pittsburgh. We usually get about 250 to 300 people there. We have a separate education track as part of that, but we do talk a lot about forward-thinking stuff, right? That's really what we're focused on. Thanks, Ernie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The competencies that you listed, do you know how many manufacturers did you just survey and what type of manufacturers were there?
So how many did we survey? We probably talked about over 100.
400, they told me.
Well, we have 400 in our total consortium, but manufacturers themselves, probably over 100 in every industry that you could think of. So, and the thing is, we create them as building blocks, so they might change. Like, you might tell us, or we may learn that cybersecurity is really important now at a robotic technician level, at a base or an entry level position. So we'll move those blocks around, and we're gonna actually do a study next year to go back and reevaluate them all. So it's, I look at them as living, right? Kind of based upon what the industry is looking for. Yes?
Can you share this presentation?
Yes, I can, happy to share the presentation. Those building blocks are on roboticscareer.org. So you can go look for them on the site as well too. And they're actually all explained too. It'll explain what each of them is.
I'll get her PowerPoint and send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the Google Drive with all the things, with all the.
I want to take one. Anyways, go to roboticscareer.org. I'll be here tomorrow too, unless you want me to do demo. I don't know if I have time.
What time is it?
It's 4:10.
4:10.
Yeah.
Are we behind or?
No, we're behind, we have like.
We're behind, okay, fine. Go to roboticscareer.org, there's a sticker back on my table, if you forget how to type it in, it's back there. I'll be here tomorrow too, so if you have any other questions, or you need help with the site, let me know. But like I said, we're here to help you as much as we can, at a national level. And Florida was our first regional office. Yay! We know there are a lot of manufacturing opportunities in Florida, as I've been talking about with Marilyn and Ernie and Maria at Florida Base. So thanks.
Been having these conversations with ARM for a while, so we've been wanting to bring them here and think about where we fit in the robotics careers.org. And actually the ET degree, advanced manufacturing specialization, lines up with that first level. The integrator sounds like what it is. It's more the design engineer kind of phase, and the other one is whatever it's called, is in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle of those two. So our programs actually align very well with what was it, technician? Robotics tech.
Bottom one, yeah, it was really good.
Robotics technician. So we're one step. We got one step in the door. I'll say that. There we go. Okay, so now we're playing the time game.
Evelyn's online.
Evelyn's online.
Yeah. Hey, Evelyn.
We talked a few times, and some of you attended the Cybersecurity for Manufacturing workshop that we supported from the Insight Center, which is the National Science Foundation Center for Cybersecurity. And they've got this initiative for cybersecurity in manufacturing, and a lot across all disciplines, so not just manufacturing, I should say. And on a separate case, and a separate initiative, Evelyn from NC State has been, had another project to develop some conversations with manufacturers and industry, and those were around automation, robotics, and cyber as well. And so out of those, that project, which is still not quite over, they developed a digital badge for cybersecurity for manufacturing. So this came from using, let her talk about it, so I'll just leave you with that. She's gonna tell you about this badge that's focused on cyber for manufacturing. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get some cybersecurity, not only awareness, but some situations and scenarios in the manufacturing environments for our students, and probably also for some of us as well. So I'll let you take it from here, Evelyn.
Okay, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so as Marilyn said, I'm going to talk a lot about the Cyber for RAM badge that we developed as a part of a ATE grant. And just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm an educator, taught for 18 years, and then I shifted to a staff position at North Carolina State University back in 2017 and became PI of ATE grant in 2020. So I want to give you just a couple slides of background about the grant itself. It's called TrackCN, which stands for the Robotics, Automation, and Cybersecurity Knowledge Sharing Coordination Network. And those of you that are very familiar with ATEs will remember back prior to 2020, they had a grant stream called Coordination Networks. And even though I'm not at a 2-year institution, coordination networks were allowed to be led by someone else, but the majority of my funding does go to 2-year institutions. So the goal of our grant was to look at education and training at the convergence of robotics/automation and cybersecurity. And what made me want to do this was that in my current role, I also work with the North Carolina Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And so I have the feeling that if Marilyn's been in the room, you know a little bit about manufacturing extension partnerships. But we work a lot with manufacturers to help them survive and thrive, particularly the small and medium-sized ones. And so when more and more things are being connected, machines are being connected to each other and to the internet, then you need to really have infrastructure in place to be able to operate those connected machines in your manufacturing setting. So we felt like helping technicians realize that where these things converge, the robotics and the automation with the cybersecurity would be important. So when we started the network, all of the ones in white font are original members. So you can see that initially we had 6 community colleges, 4 MEPs, and 4 other organizations. And I'll highlight that you see Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing there on the list. So ARM is a part of what we do, and we're very tied to them. Lisa Massi-Antonio works with their education and workforce development, and she's been in all of our meetings that we've had. The reason that we wanted to include both the MEPs and the Manufacturing USA Institutes was twofold. First of all, it said in the RFP that would up your chances to get funding, right? They were really looking for those connections. But second of all, we felt like you couldn't do things in isolation. So if you only focused on the community college students and not the manufacturers, it wouldn't necessarily be a good solution. Or if you only focused on the manufacturers and didn't include these technicians graduating, it wouldn't be a good solution. So we wanted to have collaborations among these groups. We also included MXD, which is another Manufacturing USA Institute focused on supply chain and cybersecurity, and it's located in Chicago. And then Rodney Peterson, who's the director of the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, is a part of the grant as well. We built in funds to add more MEPs and schools in the second year, so those are in the blue font. And then we added more in the third year, and those are in the yellow font. And you can see that we're across 7 different states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Illinois, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Some of the MEPs have names that make it impossible to know where they're located, but luckily North Carolina MEP and South Carolina MEP are really easy to see there. We also included the North Carolina Community College system because if we had come up with things that needed to be shared with a system, we knew that it would be easier to share them from the perspective of someone from our community college system than Evelyn, who works for NC State. So just to close out about tracks, we've had a number of different events. We created these things called automation conversations where we try to connect local manufacturers to their local community college so that they're familiar with the resources that are there, the labs, the graduates that are coming out. We've hosted a couple of those. In Virginia, we learned that the Lynchburg area doesn't really like the word automation because it scares them, that they think it's going to lower the number of jobs available. So we called those events a workforce conversation when we held them at Central Virginia Community College. We also held something called a local links, local industry networking calls with students. In theory, that was going to have 5 or 6 companies on it, where the first half hour was the companies telling the students about their positions they had available and what the company does, and the second half would be breakout sessions. We hit a few kinks in the road with that one, and we've only held the pilot, but if anybody wants to try to hold a links event, we'd be willing to work with you on that. We had a booth at a STEM Fest event in North Carolina. We also had a collaborative event at Montcalm Community College in Michigan, which is another partner. We held a face-to-face workshop for our team. And then next month, we're at the Advanced Technology Center in Kannapolis, North Carolina, that's affiliated with Rowan Cabarrus Community College. We are going to have a educators event about tools and perspectives for cyber awareness. And you can see that we've done many different webinars and presentations, et cetera, and we're going to be featured in the ATE Impacts book. So if you want to learn more about TrackCN, there's our website. We have a lot of good information up there, but really what I want to focus on is our badge. So let me shift gears and talk about the badge that we've developed. So early on in the grant, probably October of 2020, so we were about a quarter into it, 3 months in, one of the co-PIs had the idea of developing a micro-credential. And the reason we felt like this was a good idea is because when you have multiple states and multiple community college systems involved, it's hard to create a class. Plus, we all know that these students don't have room in their schedules for another class. So we felt like developing a micro-credential would be a good place to start. So we felt like the first thing you need to do is to build awareness. So this level 1 badge called Cyber for RAM is really meant to build awareness about certain competencies within cybersecurity that are important to technicians working in robotics, automation, and mechatronics. And again, as I said earlier, because manufacturers are now shifted to connected machines, their systems need protection. And we are not trying to build cyber experts out of these technicians. We are just trying to build awareness so that they're in a position to not behave in a way that puts their employer at risk, and to behave in a way where they can recognize certain threats and let their employer know that they need to bring in a cyber expert to figure out what's going on. And again, we chose to go with the badges or the micro-credentials because it allows us to reach all learners of all types. You don't have to be enrolled at a community college to get to our badge. You can be a current employee somewhere, and we try to make it as accessible as possible. We've even marketed it to individuals who are homeschooled or go a different route to get their education. So our badge development process is as follows, and we're sharing this process widely because we see that you could have a cyber for electric vehicles, a cyber for solar energy, a cyber for semiconductors, a cyber for textiles. You could use the process that we're using in some of our modules for a cyber for almost anything type of badge. So the first thing we did was review the 54 NICE competencies. We had to wait a little bit for those to come out, but since the experts who developed those knew what they were doing, we didn't think it would be a good idea for us to try to come up with our own competencies. And I think it gives our badge a lot more credibility that it's based upon NICE competencies. The 2 co-PIs for this grant have expertise in cyber and in mechatronics. So they went in and looked at the 54 competencies and pulled out those that they felt most suited advanced manufacturing. And then from the TrackCN group, we had people volunteer to be part of a badge team. And that included both, folks from the MEP as well as folks from the community colleges providing input to those who were designing the badge. One of the co-PIs went and worked with a researcher at a nearby 4-year institution to develop an industry interview protocol. So that qualitative researcher helped him create this protocol, which we knew would be very valuable because in my 5 years plus of working with industry, I know that they're very busy. And if you call them up and say, hey, can I stop by for an hour? They're going to probably say no. But if you say, hey, can you be on the phone with me for 20 minutes? You may get a yes. So we developed a protocol that allowed us to glean the answers we needed about each of these competencies quickly. What we wanted to do was develop scenarios where companies have had something bad happen to them from a cybersecurity perspective because of one of these competencies, something went wrong. So members of the badge team conducted industry interviews and got the information that was needed, and then draft scenarios were created. Of course, if you're going to earn a badge, then you need to pass a test. So assessments were created for each of the 11 modules based on the 11 competencies that were selected. And then the content for the badge was backed into from the fact that we have these scenarios and these assessments. So our badge folks, we kind of knew that the badge team had done all that they could do, and we handed it off to 2 individuals at one community college to create the badge, and they created new information and pulled existing content. So we relied on a lot of other NSF-funded researchers, such as John Sands from Moraine Valley Community College and the Center for Supply Chain Automation, who shared information with us that we were allowed and permitted to put within our badge. The learning modules were developed in an LMS called Canvas and Structure. There's no fee to have an account with Canvas and Structure, and you do not have to be currently enrolled at an institution of education to have a Canvas and Structure account. So that's why we went with that. And then the badges are issued via Credly. And the reason we chose Credly was financial. They already had an account set up with North Carolina State University, and we got a pretty good deal to align with that. So the 11 competencies that were selected by our badge team and its leaders are listed here on the screen. And you can see that all of these things would be very important to understand if you're going to work with connected machines and understand what might go wrong. You think about trying to program a collaborative robot, and a little bit of understanding of the language might help you recognize where someone has inserted fake code or code that was not written in there originally. If you look at these, you can see ways that it would make sense that they could be used for this type of badge. And again, this level 1 badge is really just for awareness. Our collaborators at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College are working on a level 2 badge right now. And I'm happy to share that what they're doing is using information from another ATE grant that they learned about at High Tech back in 2022. And those folks are willing to share what they did. This part of the badge will have to go through Rowan-Cabarrus Community College because it is a little more hands-on and you have to interface with some software and some systems. But for the level 1 badge that I'm going to demonstrate in just a minute, it's all available via Canvas and Structure. So while I transfer, stop sharing and get back into the system to do a demo, does anybody have any questions about the first part?
Any questions, anyone? Yeah, more.
Are the exams for badges administered by who?
I couldn't hear that. Was it what?
Are the exams, who are the exams administered by, or the assessments? They're online, right?
They're online assessments, and we had them verified. So we contracted with MXD, which is again another one of the Manufacturing USA Institutes, and some of their content experts looked at our modules to verify that they, it's not a Bill and Ted's Excellent Badge earning, right? It's got a little bit of meat to it. One of the stats that I think helps to say that is that we've had 175 people establish a Canvas account saying that they wanted to earn the badge, and we've had 75 badge completers. So it's a little under 50% of people who log in earn the badge. And I think part of that is because they log in and they say, oh, this is actually going to take more than a couple hours. I actually am going to have to work. And Marilyn can speak to it a little bit. She's actually earned the badge, I believe.
I got a badge. Before I started sharing it with anyone, I wanted to make sure it made sense. So it was good for us. So I did the badge after I learned about it last January.
So apparently it's free for anybody that wants to get that.
Is it free for anyone who wants to get a badge?
It is right now. So we're going to run out of money. I would imagine my best case scenario is it's going to be free at least through 2024. I believe that we have enough money to buy another set of badges for Credly to issue. So that's what I anticipate. And then after that, I'm hoping that we can find funds to support it. We get a really good rate from Credly right now because it is grant supported versus something that we're doing for profit. So my feeling is for certain, it's free for everyone through the end of 2023. And I'm about 85% sure that through the end of 2024, it will be free as well.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. It's already been a year extended since the last time I asked Evelyn. So that's great.
Yes. So here's I will tell you that this is what it looks like if you're a instructor and not a student. It's a little bit different feel for it if you're a student, but you get into the badge and it has some verbiage about what it is, has the purpose, a little bit about tracks as a grant. And then if you go down to the navigating section, it talks about the 11 modules. And it's adaptive release. So if you're a student, you can't click on the second module until you've passed the first one. But I am in teacher mode, so I could click on any of them. However, I am going to click on module 1. And you'll see that you get a module overview. It talks about which exact competency this is from the NICE set and gives you a link to the NIST website. It talks about the activities you'll complete and the learning goals and ways to progress through here. So let me just click the next button here if I can, got to shift some things around. There we go. And so module 1 is on asset and inventory management. The badge designers were able to find an existing video on this topic. So you could watch the video and take notes on that, maybe answer a few questions. I do want to demo the eMate a little bit. I don't know if this audience is familiar with eMates, but like I said, John Sands and Mike Quisani developed these through another NSF grant. And we don't have them for all 11 of our modules, but we have them for several of them. They're animated. They have, sounds that go with them. And they allow students to work at whatever pace they want. And so you'll see on the next one that there's lots of information there. So obviously if a student just clicked next right now, they'd miss most of the information. You have to go in and look at the different pieces of the eMates. So I think out of our 11 modules, maybe 6 or 7 have an eMate with them. And those were paired up by Dr. Sands based on what we said the content needed to be. He told us which eMates to put in there. So I'm going to go through that. Actually, I'm going to go back. Yeah, to the tracks here. Now, the students wouldn't be able to just jump to any quiz that they want, but because I'm in teacher mode, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to show you about the module 1 scenario and the quiz. We did not want any of the companies to be revealed because they're sharing some negative information in their scenario. So we named them all after letters of the Greek alphabet. So you read the scenario about the Alpha Corporation and what's going on with it. And then, sometimes it's a hack that occurred. Other times it's things they're trying to prevent. And once you read the scenario and you've had the background of the module itself, then you can go in and answer the questions. The only thing that some learners do not like is that we don't tell you which questions you did and didn't get right. We'll tell you whether you got an 80 or 100 and passed and can go to the next one. And if you don't pass, we don't tell you which one you didn't get right. And mainly we're doing that because we don't have a huge database of questions and we don't have a huge database of multiple choice answers. So as we get more of those, we will change that up a little bit and help the learners in that way. But like I said, there's 11 different modules and the educators from the community college have estimated it takes about 15 to 20 hours. I doubt it took Marilyn that long, as she's well educated and versed in a lot of these things. But a couple different things. And we're able to share a SCORM package if you want the whole badge like it is, or we're able to share separate modules if you only want the one on a certain competency. So that's not a skill that I have, but my co-PI Zach can do that for you. And I think my last slide was going to be my has my email address on it, but it might let's see, here we go. There we go. Yeah, so there's my email address. So if anybody wants to know more about the badge, wants a SCORM package, anything like that, let me know. And I also meant to say that next week I'm going to ARM. They have a manufacturing day event on Thursday the 5th, and I'm going to share this badge with, I think it's about 100 high school students. So
120, Evelyn.
Did you hear that?
Yes, 120. Thank you.
Okay, so all you folks should go get your badges now before next week. And any more questions for Evelyn? So
if you got a SCORM package, we just get the SCORM package from you and we can load it into our Canvas pretty easily.
That's what I've been told. We have actually, somebody reached out to Zach in mid-August and 2 days later they had it up on their Canvas site. So I believe it's an easy process. If you reach out to me, I'll forward your message. I'm actually going to talk to Zach at 2 o'clock tomorrow and can let him know. He may be hearing from me via a few forwarded messages for people who want the SCORM package. And I do think it's a very straightforward thing. Yes.
You have a question, Sharon?
Yeah, since it's on Canvas, are you allowed to post it to the Commons so we can draw it from the Commons, or is it an actual package you have to send us to load to our Canvas?
If I'm remembering correctly from a question that was asked at High Tech, there's an issue with putting it on the Commons. So we're having to send it individually. So that's my best answer for now. But but we can ask Zach that again. I think there was an issue with doing it the easier way.
What did she send us the link
What?
The package.
She can send a package, that's, SCORM.
Yeah, I know, like in my campus, I have the SCORM, package down there. I can just put a SCORM up, and then if I bring that in, it brings all that information in, and I can apply it to my, course. If I have a course, like, I would start this in my, first, probably robotics, PLC class.
Maybe if I have the course now, I can.
Yes, you can SCORM it in, and you can actually, when you hit the SCORM, it's gonna actually open up, and you'll see, if you only wanna put a few modules in one class and a few more in another, so they get it over a period of time, you can set that in there, that's not too difficult to do. I use Amatrol LMS, and I SCORM that in all the time, I don't have any problem, I can pick what I want to bring in, and that's pretty easy. So she gives you the package, you'll have a whole package there that you can put in and store. Yeah, but you have to make sure your distance learning has the SCORM, availability of SCORM on yours, but we didn't until I asked for it.
The good news is the co-PI named Zach is the dean of IT at his school. So if you run into any issues, he's probably seen them and can help them be resolved so that you are able to implement the modules or the whole set as you would like.
And any other specific questions? I think it's a great opportunity to share with, to do yourself, so you can check it out, but certainly I think it's a great way for us to think about starting the cybersecurity and manufacturing conversation with our students. They can do it, they could do it offline, you could assign it to a particular class. There's lots of ways to help start this conversation about what they should know in their working environment when they get ready to, when they graduate from your programs. So it's not terribly intense. I made it through, yes, it was quicker than 15 hours, but anyway, I just think it's a good way to get this conversation started with our students and be able to tell industry that we're helping the students understand what some of the vulnerabilities are in the equipment that they're running, and I'm sure that it's just the tip of the iceberg, but at least it's a tip.
Yep.
All right, last chance for a question, and if you have any questions, you can always go ask me and I can forward them if you missed the email.
Also share
The slides, yes, I have the slides. We'll put them in the Google Drive for this group. Gosh, thanks so much, Ellen. Hopefully
Thank y'all. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.
And another great example of working with the institutes, like you mentioned a couple of them that were, she was working with, ARM being one of them. Okay, so what's next?
We're gonna do Maury today, and then we're gonna push Ron first thing in the morning.
I'll give one piece of information. If you want my presentations, the stuff that I'm doing, the ET Forum Facebook page has the weekly newsletters on AI that I put out that have everything that I'm gonna talk about.
Oh, perfect, okay.
So if you're on the ET Forum page, then you will see them.
All right, we're gonna do you, Maury, and then, Ron will be in the morning, that way everybody can get out of here in time.
It's Maury to see again, and we have talked earlier. Now I'm going to talk about the statewide industry advisory. It was formed practically a year ago. The very first meeting that we had was at Daytona State College a year ago. And
6 months
then
ago.
we had
6 months ago.
Then 6 months ago. 6 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, the last ET Forum, right?
Yeah, 6 months ago, yeah. 6 months ago, and then 3 months ago, we had our second meeting on a Zoom, and last night we had our third. So with 3 meetings, we had achieved a lot. The goal of industry advisory board at the state level is to bring the competencies required by all industry all over the state of Florida and introduce it to the program director, and then finally get into the part of the PLOs in our program, so program learning objectives. So obviously, when you do have a local industry advisory board, you know what's going on in your local. But I don't know what's going to happen in Tallahassee, what's happening in Daytona, what's happening here in Jacksonville area. So in order to know that, this industry advisory board at the state level is gonna help a lot. Last night was a good example of that thing that I'm talking about. A lot of good conversation between industries that were present. At this time, we do have, I believe, 20 state colleges that carry ET degree program. Only 10 of them so far, 50%, we have representative from their local industry serving in this state industry advisory. So we need another 10 colleges to send their representative to this board. Who doesn't have a representative? Mary, could you show the page on the members?
Yeah, we know
This is
who-
our website.
We know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are, but we'd like you to participate. That's extremely important because if you were, when you have a representative in industry advisory board, you will become part of industry advisory board yourself as well. But you are gonna be non-voting members because this industry advisory board is all about industry. It's not about you or we are listeners. We are not talkers. So these are, we just show our executive committee. So these three individuals are executive committee, chair, vice chair, and secretary. And then the rest of them are alphabetical order. We have from Johnson and Johnson and Florida Makes, Department of Education.
See some familiar faces here.
Yeah, Coca-Cola, Palette One,
Steel Dynamics.
Space Dynamics, and then Space, is that right? The Space in Florida, and then from DMA, and where is the Jackson? Yeah, and then we have Aqua Water, I believe, or Aqua Commerce, yeah, from Daytona State College. So who is here that doesn't have an industry rep? Please raise your hand.
Well, I have
Another
one, mine moved, so I gotta get another one.
Yeah. Our industry, people are moving, that was one example of.
Sam doesn't have one. Who else? Who
Well,
else?
I think
That's
you don't have anybody from.
Richard doesn't have one.
Yes, Richard.
Yeah.
I move that we get the statewide industry committee to ban all of the programs that are around.
Can't do that.
Come on.
We're working on the next, this next 6 months, we'd like to get another 3 or 4 colleges, if not more.
We like to get the rest of them.
We'd like to get the rest of them, but
This is
I'm
your-
going for 3 at a time.
If you do have a few active members in your area, but you don't have a very strong industry advisory board, that's the way to get it. Then you can say, okay, I'm participating part of the statewide industry advisory board. They're meeting 2 times a year, at least 2 times a year. And so far, FLATE has been very polite and Florida Make has been very generous, providing lodging and traveling for those industry advisory board members. But most of them are not taking it because they want to contribute to the institution.
So Lori, the NSF grant is paying for that.
I mean,
The NSF grant is paying for
NSF
that.
grant is paying for it. I'd like to let Maria to talk to you if you have any suggestions, encouragement to our industry.
Well, I think maybe it would be a good idea, Lori, for those that haven't yet found representatives, talk about what the commitment is, and so that they can refer that to their manufacturers, what they do, what they're gonna be required to do.
So I think that went, did go out in a letter, to the ET programs a little before the first meeting, a few months before the first meeting. So it may be that we want to, repeat some of the items that were in there, of what the commitments were going to be for the board members. Some of those actually came out at the first meeting because they made some of their own decisions about how often they wanted to meet and in person versus, virtual, so.
Yeah, we may conduct most of our meeting on the Zoom, because just last night, we had at the present time, we have 13 members from industry. Last night, I believe 8 were showing us, and the rest of them, 2 of them were online, and the rest of them were supposed to be online, but they weren't. So it looks like a Zoom meeting is a little bit more convenient for industry. So when you're talking to your industry members, don't tell them that you have to be in industry forum, in a FLATE forum every single time. They don't have to. Even we are going to conduct every single time, every 6 months, that we are going to have an ET forum. And night before, this is going to be our habit. On Wednesday night, we are going to have a working dinner. At the same time that we are eating, we are talking about these issues, but they don't have to be there. Some of them can, especially if they are very short traveling or from the area, that's fine. The rest of them can be on the Zoom. So that can be the best way to participate, because we understand that they have job to do, they have things to do, they cannot be here and there all the time. So that's very important, and their mission is very important. Their mission is, see, today and tomorrow, everybody is talking about competencies. What is it that we need to teach? If this is our goal, to be here to understand what is it that we need to teach, those are people that are going to tell us directly, and they're going to say it live, and the Department of Education is listening to them and following, all of us are going to follow their suggestions, okay? So that's extremely important, that is very important. I believe forming this industry advisory board was one of the good achievements that FLATE has done in the last 2 years or so. And we are gonna make it, we're gonna happen. Any question you may have in regard to state industry advisory?
And we think it's a good way to raise the visibility of our programs. Remember, I think it was Phil who said, a lot of the companies didn't know that we had, that this program existed, and that there was a lot of good programs around the state that could support their companies. So you could think of it as a recruitment tool as well, as one way to get the word out about the program. Certainly getting the website up so we could share it, and you could share it with your, with potential members. It's another way to do it, to raise the presence of your program, and hopefully that would help recruit students as well, with having this bigger image of what the program is in the state. So hopefully the rest of you will think about it. I see a few people who need to work on it in here, but we'll be in touch with some of you, I believe, in the next month or so.
Yeah. I
To see if
will
we can rally
send
some more.
everybody who doesn't have a representative, I will send you an email, please respond. Don't put it in back file. Please respond and say, I'm working on it. Or here is my representative, something. Please don't ignore me and reply to my email.
Now, just try to ignore more. That's not very easy.
It don't work, yeah. Any question you may have? Any suggestion you may have? No?
Questions, answers, smart remarks, that's what he's saying.
So once you recruit, as Maury said, once you recruit a member, you are yourself welcome as the program manager or director, whatever your title is. One person or two from the college to attend the meeting, also to listen. So it's another kind of networking opportunity as well. Very focused on the program itself and the competencies in the program.
It took me 6 to 7 months to find one person. He comes on one meeting and then moves.
Sam, if you want
The food was good. Sam got into some heated discussions with Ron. It was great. Thought WWE was gonna come out.
We had a good time though, didn't we?
It was nice though, because industry was there, and industry was letting us know where the deficits were and how we could help with that. So that part is really good, so the more the merrier at this point. And just like SolidWorks, in my area, that's not a thing. Everybody's gone away from SolidWorks, everybody's AutoCAD, Inventor, but in your world, it's SolidWorks. So that's good to know about different areas, different industries need different things. And that's kind of something that we need to keep on our scope as educators. So it's a really good assignment to the industry as well.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else anybody needs to ask or say? Because we're about to adjourn and head to dinner at 6, right?
6 o'clock. Whitey's Fish Camp.
Whitey's Fish Camp. Anything else? All right, adjourn, you guys.